When was the last time you gave yourself permission to go quiet? To retreat? You're not weak. You're not broken. You're not running away. You're answering a call. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do for your soul is to be silent. Stop explaining. Stop chasing validation. Stop pouring into everyone else while you're running on empty. In silence, medicine appears. In stillness, power returns. And there you remember who you are. The world shouts, don't disappear. But a seed doesn't grow in open air. It roots deep in dark soil. Your healing works the same. Disappearing isn't losing yourself, it's finding yourself. When you return, you won't just come back. You'll rise with boundaries, with clarity, with a quiet strength no one can ignore. Retreating is often mistaken for weakness, but in truth, stepping back is one of the most courageous acts of healing a person can choose. We live in a culture that constantly pushes visibility, productivity, and performance, where slowing down is equated with failure and silence is perceived as giving up. Yet the soul has a different rhythm. It knows when you've been stretched too thin, drained too deeply, or disconnected from your truest self. When you answer the call to retreat, you're not running away. You're returning to yourself. It is an act of reclaiming strength, not losing it. Think of a warrior who steps off the battlefield, not because he has lost the fight, but because he understands that sharpening his sword and regaining energy will make him more effective when he returns. That pause doesn't make him weak. It ensures his survival and guarantees his victory. In the same way, when life feels overwhelming and you decide to step back, you are not quitting. You are preparing for your own comeback. It takes tremendous strength to resist the pressure to keep pushing when your spirit is crying for stillness. Retreat is also about protection. It's about shielding your mind from noise, your heart from constant demands, and your body from exhaustion. In silence, you start to hear your own voice again, the one that gets drowned out by opinions, obligations, and endless distractions. You discover clarity that business always blurs. This space becomes sacred ground where wounds are acknowledged, fears are faced, and energy is renewed. Without it, you risk burning out completely, pouring from an empty cup until there's nothing left to give. The world may not understand your choice to step away. People might question, judge, or even criticize, but their perspective is limited to the visible. They cannot see the quiet transformation happening beneath the surface. Just as no one watches a seed while it pushes roots deep into the soil, that process is hidden, unseen, and easily mistaken for inactivity, yet it is the most crucial part of growth. When you retreat, you enter your own soil season, where the unseen work of healing and rebuilding is taking place. When you eventually emerge, you are different. You come back with boundaries where there were none before. You carry clarity in place of confusion, calmness where there was chaos, and a strength that radiates without needing to prove itself. The person who returns from retreat is not the same one who stepped back. They are sharper, wiser, and stronger. That is the true evidence that retreat is not weakness but power in disguise. Stepping back is also an act of trust. Trusting that even when you are not visible, you are still valuable. Trusting that growth is happening even when no one applauds. Trusting that silence is not emptiness but preparation. Choosing to retreat means you value your future more than temporary appearances. It is a declaration that your healing, your peace, and your well-being matter more than keeping up with the noise of the world. So when the urge to withdraw comes, don't see it as defeat. See it as alignment. You're not running away from life. You're creating the space to meet life again with renewed strength. Retreat is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the sacred pause that allows you to rise higher, return stronger, and reclaim the fullness of who you were always meant to be. Silence has a way of speaking louder than words ever could. In a world that thrives on constant noise, endless notifications, and the pressure to always explain or prove yourself, choosing quiet may seem countercultural, even uncomfortable. Yet silence is not emptiness, it is medicine. It is the balm that soothes the weary soul and the space where you begin to remember who you are beyond the demands, expectations, and performances that life has layered upon you. When you embrace silence, you step away from the exhausting chase for validation. The world teaches us to seek approval in likes, comments, promotions, or applause, but none of those truly satisfy. They only create a hunger that demands to be fed again and again. In stillness, however, you stop chasing. You learn that your worth is not tied to your output or to how others perceive you. Silence reminds you that you were valuable before anyone noticed you, and that you will remain valuable even if no one ever applauds again. Quiet becomes the place where your inner voice can rise again. So often it is drowned out by the volume of other people's opinions, the constant comparisons of social media, and the nagging whispers of self-doubt. When you choose to go silent, you strip away those distractions and give your own heart the chance to be heard. That voice may start out faint, trembling, uncertain, but the longer you sit with it, the stronger it becomes. It is the voice that knows your truth, your pain, your dreams, and your potential. Silence is also restorative. Just as the body needs sleep to repair, the soul needs stillness to heal. In quiet moments, your energy begins to return. The parts of you that felt broken start to realign, anxiety eases, clarity replaces confusion. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable because you are no longer trying to fight life's battles while running on empty. Silence fills you again. It doesn't just heal the noise-induced exhaustion, it builds strength for the days ahead. There is also a sacredness to silence that cannot be ignored. Some of the most profound transformations in life happen unseen, away from the spotlight, hidden in quiet spaces. A seed buried in the soil does its greatest work in darkness. A caterpillar undergoes its miraculous transformation inside a cocoon, out of sight. In the same way, your soul reshapes itself in silence. Growth, healing, and renewal don't always happen in public. They are birthed in secret, in stillness, where no one else is watching. Silence challenges you to face yourself. This is why so many people avoid it. In quiet, the distractions fall away, and you come face to face with the feelings you've been ignoring. The grief you buried, the wounds you denied, the questions you were afraid to ask. At first it can feel heavy, but silence does not expose you to break you. It exposes you to heal you. What is faced can finally be released. What is acknowledged can finally be restored. The beauty of silence is that when you emerge from it, you do so with greater clarity about who you are and what truly matters. You no longer live for every passing opinion. You no longer waste energy trying to prove yourself to people who were never meant to define you. Instead, you walk with a quiet confidence, rooted in the unshakable truth of your own worth. Silence is not wasted time, it is sacred time. It is not weakness, it is strength. It is not the absence of life, it is the restoration of it. When you embrace silence as medicine, you stop running from yourself and finally return to yourself. And in that returning, you remember you are enough, not because of what you do or what others think, but simply because of who you are. A seed never grows in the open air. It must be buried, pressed beneath the soil, hidden away from sight. To the outside world, that seed looks forgotten, maybe even dead. Yet in that darkness, in that unseen place, a miracle is unfolding. Roots begin to form, strength begins to build, and transformation quietly takes place long before anything breaks through the surface. In the same way, your soul needs its quiet season. A time when you step back, retreat from the spotlight, and allow unseen growth to occur. We often fear those seasons of silence because they feel lonely, obscure, and uncelebrated. We think if no one sees us, then nothing of value is happening. But the truth is, some of the most powerful changes in life are born in obscurity. Just like the seed, your greatest growth happens when no one is applauding, when no one is watching, when you feel unseen. It is in that hidden soil that you develop resilience, patience, and deep roots that will sustain you when your season of visibility comes. The cocoon tells a similar story. The caterpillar disappears from the world, retreating into a fragile shell. To the eye, it looks like nothing is happening, just stillness, just waiting. Yet inside that cocoon, every part of the caterpillar is being reshaped. Old structures dissolve, new patterns form, and eventually what emerges is not the same creature that entered. The caterpillar does not crawl back out. It bursts forth as a butterfly, with wings strong enough to fly. That transformation could never have happened without the quiet, unseen season of the cocoon. Your quiet season works the same way. When life pulls you away from noise and visibility, it is not punishment, it is preparation. You may feel hidden, overlooked, or forgotten. But in reality, you are being rebuilt. Every challenge you've endured, every wound you've carried, every disappointment you've faced begins to be processed in the silence. Old versions of you dissolve, the people pleasing, the exhaustion, the constant striving, and in their place a new version begins to form. Stronger, clearer, freer. The soil and the cocoon both teach us patience. Growth is never instant. Transformation is never rushed. The seed must endure pressure before it pushes upward. The cocoon must hold its process until the butterfly is fully ready. If it emerged too soon, it would not survive. In the same way, your season of silence may feel longer than you expected, but that time is necessary. It ensures that when you rise, you are truly ready to sustain the life waiting for you. This is why disappearing for a while should never be mistaken for weakness. Seeds are not weak when they are hidden. Caterpillars are not weak when they retreat. They are simply in process. You too are in process when you step back. The absence is not the end. It is the birthplace of something greater. When your season of silence is over, you won't return the same. Like the seed breaking through the soil or the butterfly leaving the cocoon, you will rise transformed. The world may not understand the quiet you needed, but they will not be able to ignore the strength, beauty, and clarity you carry when you return. Silence is not emptiness, it is incubation. Retreat is not failure, it is formation. And your hidden season is not a pause in your story. It is the very chapter where your comeback begins. When you go through a season of silence and retreat, You never return as the same person who stepped back. Something within you shifts, something unseen but undeniable. You leave behind the version of yourself that was constantly drained, endlessly explaining, and always available for everyone else while neglecting your own needs. Instead, you come back with a renewed sense of strength, and not the kind that shouts or demands attention, but a quiet, unshakable strength rooted in peace. This transformation is what makes the time of retreat sacred. It births a new you, one with boundaries, clarity, and calm that cannot be easily shaken. Boundaries are one of the greatest gifts you carry back with you. Before, you may have said yes, out of guilt, fear, or the desire to please, but now you understand the cost of overextending yourself. In the silence, you learn that your energy is precious, that your peace is priceless, and that saying no is not selfish but necessary. These boundaries are not walls built out of bitterness, they are gates of wisdom. They allow you to love without losing yourself, to give without being emptied, and to stand without being trampled. Clarity is another mark of your transformation. Stepping back gave you the chance to see things for what they truly are. Distance has a way of pulling masks off people and situations. In the stillness, you recognized who genuinely cared for you and who only benefited from your presence. You discovered which dreams were truly yours and which ones you were carrying because of others' expectations. When you return, you no longer walk blindly. You see with sharper eyes, and your decisions reflect that clarity. You no longer waste energy on what drains you, because you know now what deserves your yes, and what requires your no. A calm spirit also emerges from your return. Before retreat, you may have been quick to react, constantly triggered by chaos or restless in the face of uncertainty. But silence taught you stillness. You discovered that peace is not found in controlling everything around you but in learning to master yourself. You come back slower to anger, quicker to listen, and less easily disturbed by what once unsettled you. That calmness is not passivity, it is power. It is the ability to face storms without being consumed by them, to hold your ground when everything around you is shaking, and beneath it all you return with a deeper strength. This strength is not loud or showy, it is steady, quiet, and enduring. It is the strength that comes from knowing you have survived the hidden battles, the lonely nights, and the silent struggles that no one else saw. You carry the confidence of someone who has been tested and refined in silence. The world may not understand where your strength came from, but they will see it in the way you stand taller, walk freer, and live lighter. When you return transformed, people will notice the difference. Some will admire it, others may resist it, but none will be able to deny it. The truth is, you didn't come back to prove yourself. You came back to live in alignment with who you've become. Retreat changed you, silence remade you, and now, you carry the evidence in your boundaries, your clarity, your calm, and your strength. You are no longer who you were, and that is the point. Distance has a way of revealing the truth about people in a way constant closeness never can. When you step back, when you stop pouring endlessly into everyone around you, you begin to see who truly values you and who only valued what you could give. Retreat creates space, and in that space, masks fall off. People who were drawn to the benefits of your presence, but not your actual heart, start to fade, while those who genuinely care find ways to remain connected. It is not always easy to face this truth, but it is essential, because healing is not just about restoring yourself. It is also about releasing what drains you. When you are always available, always saying yes, it is hard to discern motives. The constant noise of obligations and demands blurs the line between love and convenience. But when you take a step back, the silence becomes a filter. It shows you who calls just to check on you, not just when they need something. It reveals who respects your boundaries instead of pushing past them. It uncovers who clings to your energy selfishly, and who gives back to you freely. Distance clarifies what closeness conceals. Learning to say no is one of the most powerful parts of this process. For so long, you may have equated no with rejection, with letting people down, or with being unkind. But through distance, you begin to realize that no is not cruelty. It is honesty. It is protecting your peace, honoring your capacity, and respecting your healing journey. Every time you say no to what drains you, you are saying yes to what sustains you. You are choosing life over exhaustion, authenticity over performance, and truth over pretense. This new ability to refuse what harms you does not mean you stop loving people. On the contrary, it means you begin to love more wisely. Love without boundaries depletes, love with discernment strengthens. You learn that not everyone deserves access to the deepest parts of you, and that is not bitterness, it is wisdom. You stop mistaking constant availability for genuine connection. True relationships do not wither in distance, they adapt, they wait, they prove themselves. The ones that fade were never built to last, and their departure, while painful, is part of your liberation. The truth about people can sting. Realizing that some who smiled in your face secretly took advantage of your kindness is never easy. Accepting that not everyone you called friend had your best interests at heart can break you for a moment. But in the breaking comes clarity, and in the clarity comes freedom. Distance spares you from carrying dead weight into the next season of your life. It cuts ties with what would have drained your future strength. Healing demands this pruning. You cannot restore yourself while holding on to every draining connection. Just as a tree must shed branches to grow taller, you must release unhealthy ties to rise stronger. The beauty is that when you do, the relationships that remain are richer, deeper, and more nourishing. You come to see that true friends are not threatened by your no, and genuine love does not demand you destroy yourself to keep it alive. Distance is not abandonment, it is revelation. It shows you who is for you and who was only for what you could provide. It teaches you that no is not selfish but sacred. And it reminds you that part of healing is not only restoring your own soul, but also surrounding yourself with people who respect and protect that restoration. When the masks fall and the truth is revealed, you are left with what is real, and what is real will always be enough. Silence is often misunderstood as an ending, a withdrawal, or even defeat, but in reality, it is one of the most powerful forms of preparation. When you choose to step back, to be still, and to let the noise fade away, you are not quitting, you are recharging. You are gathering strength, gathering perspective, and gathering energy for what comes next. Silence is not the end of the story. It is the chapter that equips you for a powerful comeback. In silence, gratitude begins to grow. When life is loud and busy, it is easy to overlook the small blessings that surround you each day. You are so focused on chasing what's next that you miss the beauty of what already is. But when you retreat into quiet, the distractions lessen, and suddenly you notice things again. The warmth of sunlight, the comfort of breathing deeply, the simple gift of peace. Gratitude does not always come in grand gestures, it comes in noticing what you once ignored. That gratitude shifts your perspective and strengthens your heart for the journey ahead. Clarity also emerges in silence. Noise clouds judgment, but stillness clears the fog. In quiet moments, the confusion that once weighed on your mind begins to lift. You see more clearly who you are, what you value, and where you need to go. The decisions that once felt impossible become more manageable because you are no longer reacting. You are reflecting. Silence gives you the gift of vision. It helps you recognize what drains your energy, what fuels your spirit, and what steps align with your true purpose. That clarity ensures that when you return, you do not waste time chasing things that do not belong to you. Energy is another treasure born from silence. Constant business depletes, but stillness restores. When you allow yourself to stop pouring into everything around you, your reserves refill. The fatigue begins to fade and strength quietly returns. It is like a river finding its flow again after being blocked. The very energy that seemed gone forever comes back stronger, because now it is not scattered but focused. That energy becomes the fuel for your comeback, the power that allows you to rise higher than before. What people often forget is that comebacks are not born in public, they are born in private. Athletes train away from the crowd. Seeds grow beneath the soil. Butterflies form in hidden cocoons. In the same way, your season of silence is not wasted time, it is preparation. It is where you build the unseen strength, gratitude, clarity, and energy that will surprise those who thought your silence was your end. They will see the comeback, but they will never fully understand the preparation that made it possible. And when you do return, you return with power. You return lighter because silence taught you to release what weighed you down. You return clearer because quiet sharpened your vision. You return stronger because stillness restored your strength. And above all, you return more grateful, carrying a calm confidence that nothing can easily shake. Silence is not weakness, and retreat is not failure. They are the hidden stages of growth, the sacred preparation for transformation. The world may interpret your pause as defeat, but you know the truth. You are only gathering yourself for something greater. And when you step back into the light, your comeback will not just be seen, it will be undeniable proof that silence was never the end. It was always the beginning of something more powerful. Every season of retreat carries a purpose. What looked like weakness was strength in disguise. What felt like silence was medicine for your soul. What seemed like obscurity was transformation, like a seed hidden in the soil or a caterpillar inside a cocoon. And when you finally return, you are no longer the same. You come back with boundaries that protect you, clarity that guides you, calmness that steadies you, and strength that cannot be shaken. Distance revealed the truth about people, teaching you who deserved your presence and who only drained it. Saying no became part of your healing, and in that space you found freedom. And the silence, far from being an ending, prepared you for a powerful comeback, filled with gratitude for what you have, vision for where you're going, and energy to rise into the life you were meant to live. So if you are in a quiet season right now, do not despise it, do not mistake it for loss or failure. This is your preparation. This is your refining. And when the time comes, you will rise, not as who you were, but as who you were always meant to become.